I am so excited to bring on a brand new agent today who has absolutely rocked it in her first year of real estate. She is going to be sharing a little bit about her success and why she decided to join Real Broker after interviewing tens of brokerages and what role the brokerage had on her success in her first year of real estate. If anything stands out to you in this video and you want to learn more, reach out to Janelle because all of her information is going to be down below. She'll be really happy to talk to you about anything to do with real estate, business, or real brokerage. And if you want to book a call with me, the link to my calendar is also below. Now let's go talk to Janelle. Okay, Janelle, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me today. I'm really excited for this chance to interview you.
Of course. I hope you're not going to be diving into my deep, dark secrets.
We will. Don't worry, we will.
No,
Okay.
I'm thrilled as well. Thank you, Jessica, for asking.
All right, so we'll start off easy. How long
Okay.
have you been in real estate now?
My official anniversary date is January 24th.
Okay,
So I guess 10 months?
10 months. Okay, and
Yeah,
how many deals have you done in your 10 months?
15.
15. Okay, that's what I was saying this morning on my Instagram story, and I was pretty sure that I was right.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment for anyone, and
Thank
let
you.
alone your first year and in a hard market. And I know when we first met, you were looking for a brokerage
Mhm.
and you were interviewing a lot. How many brokerages did you interview?
So I stopped keeping track after 20. But I really, being new to this part of the world, I do have a background as an executive in sales, and formerly an entrepreneur as well. So with that, I had a pretty good idea of the bones and the structures that I was looking for and the pillars that I wanted from a brokerage to be able to help me build my business. However, I really had no idea what the world of real estate was really like on that side of it. I've always been on the client as a buyer, seller, and it's always a world that I've been tremendously fascinated by. And from an outsider looking into real estate, I often would see, agents announcing a change of brokerage. At the end of the day, I think that you choose to work with the person, not necessarily the brokerage that's behind them, but it's very important for them to have the right backing, as I've learned now. So I ventured out and started stalking quite a few real estate agents on social media, to learn by osmosis and to know, like, the who's who of the Burlington, Hamilton, Niagara area. And I really wanted to explore all the various models. I actually met with, it was close to 30, it was between 20 and 30 different people and every single time, I have to say, I pick up or learn on a little tidbit and a little piece of information with every meeting that I had that just further kind of grew my knowledge of potentially what I was considering. I wanted to make sure that I established myself with, I don't want to be changing in a year, 2 years, or from now. I really put an enormous, probably maybe even too much. I do remember speaking to certain agents. They're like, just pick one. Like you can switch later on. And for me, that wasn't an option. I wanted to get it right from the get-go.
Yeah, I remember that you were really focused on the long-term vision and you wanted to go somewhere that you could see yourself not only as a new agent, but in 5 years and 10 years and how you would progress. So, what made you see that with Real?
And what was really important for me is to look at who is doing things differently, who
Hmm.
is thinking outside the box, who is being very innovative in regards to the tools that they're providing for their agents to help them grow, and who, what are the cultures like as well. And as I was doing my due diligence and my research and meeting everyone, I set out as a goal, because I was working full time on obtaining my license. It wasn't just something I was doing at night, but I'd set out to at least meet with three different people every week. So whether if it was an agent, a broker, a team lead from various brokerages, I think I courted every single brokerage in the Hamilton Burlington area. So they probably thought I was crazy, but I just really wanted to get a feel for, who they were and the amount of care and attention that they put into their agents and their teams. So for me, it was just really important to kind of find that right fit and find the one who the brokerage that seems to be, ruffling feathers or being a disruptor, and also looking at the game differently. And so Real checked off all of those boxes. And then to layer on top of that, being an entrepreneur, you're always kind of looking for additional streams of income. For me, it's always been the opportunity attached to being an entrepreneur and the flexibility to, um, evolve in various ways and to contribute to your revenue from various ways. So just by sheer coincidence, the fact that, Real had an agent attraction and rev share program attached to it, that was just icing on the cake for me. So that's what kind of really caught my eye with Real at first.
And was there anything that you were really worried about joining Real? Was there something that was
Oh,
stopping?
100%. 100%. Jessica, I'm sure you'll probably remember how many meetings we had to have.
Yeah, we had a lot of these Zooms.
I put you through the ringer for sure, and thank you for, pushing through and being persistent
I always saw such potential in you because I don't know, I just had this feeling from your background and your personality and from talking to you. So I really wanted us to work together. So every time we booked another Zoom, I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, and I think I'll always remember when I finally told you, because I asked you, okay, can we hop on another Zoom? I have more questions, and you're probably rolling your eyes thinking like, okay, here we go again. And I had these questions lined up, but I kind of already knew
Mhm.
deep down inside, like I knew I was headed over to Real. And at the end of the call, I'm like, okay, let's do it. And you're kind of like, what?
Probably expecting you're going to need, some more time, maybe another.
Well,
But
and
what were
the
those
reason,
that were holding you back at first? Like, what were the things
yeah,
you were
yeah.
worried?
So one of the things, so obviously the more you can't fear what you don't know also, right? So it was also about like learning what is it about a brokerage that I should be looking for. And as a new agent, when you're newly licensed, you have no clue. The obvious things is what is your cap? What are your splits? Like those are the two most obvious questions when you're a new agent, but there's so much more to it. And one of the things that I feared is because Real was relatively new in Canada, would they have the structure or even the time to help a new agent grow? Would this be the proper structure, for me to launch my career? And, would I be better off going to a brokerage that is better known for training newbies in the industry? Um, and that is probably the biggest apprehension. You know, the other part, and this is maybe a not so nice part to think about, to talk about, but I think that it's important that we bring this to the table as well. But in just asking around some of the people that I knew in the industry already and asking them about Real, because Real was so new, and it was still kind of in discovery mode in the world of real estate. Very few people knew a lot about Real,
Mhm.
and those who did, I would often be met with negative comments because they fear what they don't know, or it's almost like I did feel a certain level of threat being conveyed from other brokerages and other people that I spoke to who firmly believe. And at the end of the day, it's about finding the right fit for
Mhm.
you. And if the right fit for them is elsewhere, great.
And coming in as a new agent, what was
Yeah.
your experience with that?
So it really was for me, and I don't know if you remember, but I think literally I actually signed my contract the day after I attended the first event. There was
Mhm.
an event in Burlington where there was, a ton of agents that gathered together, and we had, terrific speakers. And, when we talk about community, you know, I've often witnessed in the corporate world, people drinking the Kool-Aid and creating this community, but you got to think alike and be part of that company and be part of that group to be part of that community. And with Real, I think the culture in this company stems all the way up from our president, Sharon,
Yes, yeah,
who, he often says, like, I'm here to serve you.
yeah.
It's not about him and the title, it's about what can I give you. And this culture that he's created of a community that's inclusive to those who are also not part of Real. He will, and I think this is what I witnessed that day at that event. It was the no gatekeeping, the share of information so that we can all collaborate and grow together,
Yeah.
and learn from one another. And, it was a room that was filled with elite agents. And I will not say this lightly because I also had the opportunity to be part of other rooms or put myself in those scenarios prior to joining Real with other brokerages. And it never really felt like there was a lot of space to grow. It
Mhm.
felt limiting.
Mhm.
And, for me, it really was when I witnessed the sense of community that also broadened or reached out to other agents from other brokerages to create a community. Um, that's what sold me on it. And then that's, I felt like there's so many figures and there's so many agents that I can learn from in this room. And I want to be a part of this.
I love that because you've been such a big part of our community since you joined Real. We talk about community and collaboration all the time, but I feel like some people still don't really understand what that is, especially if they're in a different type of environment and they haven't actually experienced it yet. And they're kind of buzzwords, and people like to say, like,
Yeah.
we're collaborative and collaboration over competition. But at the end of the day, what does it really actually mean? And
Yeah.
you've been someone who came in and joined us, and you're always active in the group chats. You come to the meetups that we do, you come on the Zooms, you participate, you ask questions, you share. And I think because of that, you've been able to not only give so much to the community, but receive so much from it.
Mhm.
And so,
Absolutely. I didn't mean to interrupt there, but one of the things, like, I feel like I've received so much, so it's only natural that I give back. And I am forever grateful for just the level of acceptance
mhm,
too, right? For other agents knowing how new I am, I've never once felt like whatever I was bringing to the table was not enough or that, I shouldn't speak up. And it was really, I really do feel like it's almost like I've grown into this family that we all love to see each other succeed and cheer one another on and participate in each other's events and share our information or share events that someone might be doing on our social media pages. And that's a huge part of it because one of the things that you hear continuously in real estate is how lonely this business can be. And let me tell you, I wasn't expecting to get emotional about this, but um, I've never, I've never felt alone.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear that. That really does.
Yeah, and so and kudos to you, Jessica, because there's quite a few, I think, that within Real, and it's, I look at the group, it goes beyond that. I've met Amy Youngren. I've met, quite a few other, I've met Tien and had the ability to work with him. And there's just so many, the culture in this company and the agents that are a part of it um, is massive. It's huge. And everyone's willing to help. So for me, never once have I felt alone in all of this. And that's been a massive, um, massive checkbox,
Yeah,
if I could say. And I think you probably will say the same. I mean, you acquire friendships out of
oh,
it, right? Like
100%,
you,
100%. You know, someone was
yeah.
asking me, why would you help so many other real estate agents, and especially ones in your own market? And I'm like, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, there's so many reasons, but it's not just helping a real estate agent, you're just helping a person, someone, right? And when you give to people, you also receive. And for me, I would rather help agents and have people to do this with than to say, no, I'm not going to help you and just be by myself in my office working by myself and do my own thing. Like that
Which is
is not
very
very
much
enjoyable.
no, and it's very much, you hear about this way of functioning from other offices, and I can't, for me, it's unfathomable. And the other thing too, I think one important point we should touch on is the fact that perhaps because we are a cloud-based brokerage, which, by the way, was another one of my concerns, like, well, how often can I reach a broker of record? And is it just like a random person that I call? And but little did I know, there's specific people that are assigned
Yeah.
to certain territories, and I've unfortunately developed a very good relationship with our broker of record.
Not
Um,
unfortunately, it's because you're doing business, so you have a reason to talk to the broker. So not
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunate.
No, I know, and we joke around. I'm surprised at this point in time when they see my number come up on the phone that they still answer. But no, but this is also part of what needs to be talked about, because what's really important, and this is not just for new agents, but this is also for seasoned agents, but
Mm,
to have a solid broker of record behind them that is available to answer questions, to verify compliance, legalities on certain things. And, fortunately, knock on wood, I haven't had to deal with this, but, um, should something go wrong, to have someone who will step up to the plate and go to bat for you,
definitely.
which I've heard of happening within our brokerage. So, I think that's super important. And the fact that it's cloud-based, we still get the support that we need from a broker record, actually outstanding support, I will say. But also I think the importance in finding ways to connect
Yes.
um, is also extremely important, and having, being part of kind of a micro community within the big scope of Real,
Yeah.
and finding ways to help one another and to propel each other's businesses, or flourish with ideas from one another, is also a huge part of it that has been tremendously helpful.
We've had months where me and you are both joking that we have too many things on our calendar in terms of between the brokerage and us and the community and all the social things, the trainings,
Yeah,
the learnings, the masterminds. We're like, okay, our calendar is full. We have to start saying no to some of these things.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And that's the thing. I mean, you can be as little or as much involved as you
Yeah.
want, right? You touched on it. There's certain agents that for them, they just prefer to be in their corner doing their own thing. They're never excluded from anything. And at any random time when they choose to jump in, I have always found our community to be extremely welcoming,
Mhm.
and also helpful if ever they pop in with questions or different things like that. But I really feel that there is a place for everyone
Yeah.
in this community that's been created. And um, there's so much that can be done. Like if you're a social butterfly, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can fill your calendar with events, but
Yeah.
also from a learning and a teaching standpoint, just from what's available at our fingertips through Real Academy has
Yeah.
been tremendously helpful. Even some of the how-to videos on certain forms or different things like that. It's been our calendars are definitely full, but I think that's the way we love to function, right?
Yeah. And what would you say to anybody who's, let's say, on the fence? Not necessarily just about joining Real, but maybe they're not 100% satisfied where they are and they've been
Mhm.
thinking of making a move, or they've been thinking of joining Real. Because I know change is scary and
Mhm.
people don't always know what's on the other side. So, what would you say to those people?
Mm. This is a step in the direction to build on your legacy as well, and where you'll have the necessary support and the platforms that are required to service your community, but even more so from a financial security standpoint, Real cannot be beat.
Hmm.
Just the caps and the splits are very difficult to compete with for other brokerages. So just that alone is one thing, combined with, the rev share program, combined with, the opportunity of the share purchase plan that you can contribute to and get bonused with,
Hmm.
combined with um, the community and the support and learning tools that come from it, and the fact that this is one of the most innovative tech real estate companies that there is.
Yeah.
The tech and the AI behind all of their integrations is quite frankly really innovative, and it's following the trend of what you see going on in other industries
Yeah.
around us, and that
Yeah.
is key. And I think that that's what Real really sets itself apart with. So, it's easy for me to say because Real is a terrific fit for me for sure. But even from a fiscal financial standpoint,
Yeah.
I find it interesting when you talk to people who newly join Real, what was their motivational factor? Everyone has a different reason.
Yeah.
Everyone has a different reason, but what most what comes together most of all is the financial advantages, with everything combined with all the
Yeah.
extras of the tech and the community and our core values and all that kind of stuff. It'll be the one leap of faith in your life that you'll never look back on.
Yeah, yeah. I know when I moved, I wasn't really thinking of moving to Rio. Like I wasn't really thinking of moving in general. And I took a meeting to hear about it and just thinking I'll just hear, just
Mhm.
whatever. Let's see what this buzz is about. And it lit something up inside of me and I said, I'm going. I did a little bit more
Mhm.
research and I just went for it. And
Well, and that's the thing, it
I'm the right
never hurts. You would be doing yourself a disservice by not listening and understanding what's around you.
fit. Hmm.
It could be something that would be a lot better for you. And it's funny. I mean, it's funny to think that, once upon a time you never even really thought about real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because you're such a pillar in this business that I just can't imagine that.
It's yeah, you never know where where life's going to take you, right? So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
the very last question I want to ask you is just on a high level, would you say that joining Real contributed to your success that you had in your first year?
100%. So one of the big things, it's obviously it's exposure on a broader scale. So brokerages that are more regionally based are kind of landlocked to those areas, and the kind of business activity that occurs is really all within that small circle in that
Yeah.
town or that city. And um, for me, number one, um, if I can just maybe backtrack a little bit, the onboarding process as a new agent, not knowing anything, it is completely mapped out in front of you. Real provides you also with, a dedicated person to walk you through and answer some questions and complete the checklist of onboarding items, which also can be viewed at any point in time on the Reason dashboard. And it literally is all laid out for you in front of you. So from an onboarding standpoint, it was extremely seamless. Um, and then, not knowing any better, I found it relatively seamless. But then you also have the ability to connect with so many different, which now is Work Vivo
Mhm.
within Reason, but it's all these various chat groups where referrals are being traded. And because Real is a cloud-based brokerage, you're instantly connecting with agents from Alberta, from
Yeah.
Ottawa, from BC. And, as a new agent, it's been awesome for me to be able to connect with a lot because I've actually had quite a few referrals
Yeah,
come
I was
through. I've,
gonna say, I think we can tie back at least a handful of deals to either people at Real, people who are directly like close to us at Real, even in our group chats, through open houses that you've hosted from
Mhm.
agents that you met at Real or maybe that I've connected you with. I think there's actually quite a few that come back to this circle, right?
100%. And you'll remember when I first met you, the only thing I was focused on is open house, open house, open house. I want open
Yeah.
house. And for me, it's one of the pillars that I identified. I connect very well with people in person. And this is one of the pillars that I identified as one of my areas of growth,
Yeah.
is to really do as many open houses as possible. And because we have such a broad network
Mhm.
that stretches beyond a city or town, um, you have that level of exposure, and it's that much easier for a new agent to latch on to these opportunities. And because, again, I don't want to sound corny here, but because again, the type of community that we've created, I
Mhm.
really genuinely, my interactions with real agents in Alberta to real agents in the Ottawa area have all been the same. We all want to see our own community succeed.
Mhm.
And it's been terrific from that standpoint because that's exactly from the transactions that I've gotten this year have been through open houses and through referrals. So hands down, it's been great for that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I think we have to do a part two more on how you
Of
just
course.
in your first year. Thank you so much.